Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for jumping into another video. My name is Josh and I am just an average Joe day trader. Guys, if you've been listening in on many of the videos I've created, I'd like to share and talk about the best day trade stocks, the ones that I get in and out of every day. Remember, this is not financial advice, but just me sharing my opinion and what I trade in and day out to make money. What I promised in several of my videos was that I was going to start to do some training videos and actually create a playlist of training videos on my YouTube channel. And so, welcome to the very first episode of Candlestick Training. Now, there are two videos that you can go back and review first. One is my intro video, which talks all about my strategy, how I trade based on the candlestick patterns, based on the support and resistance levels and volume, and what stocks I select based on price per share, and just a lot of information that if you want to learn about my strategy, I recommend that you watch that video and it may help you on your trading journey. I also have a video that is about simplified charting, and I just show you basic ways to set your resistance and your support levels, how I live within the channels of the stocks that I day trade within those support and resistance channels. So that's another video that I recommend you guys go ahead and watch as well. This training video, though, is specific to the doji candlesticks. And so in this training, I'm going to share with you guys a little bit how to interpret doji candlesticks and what the specific types of doji candlesticks there are. And hopefully that'll give you a little bit of an edge in making decisions about where you are, whether you're getting in or getting out of a stock, and understanding the doji candlestick and how it predicts the direction of which way the candles are going to go next based on buyer and seller sentiment. So first and foremost, please remember that this is for training purposes only. I'm not providing any financial advice in here. I recommend that you learn the candlestick patterns. One of them that's very important to me is the doji candlestick and all the different varieties of doji candlesticks. So you can see here that for me, there's four specific types of doji candlesticks. We've got the dragonfly, and I'm going to use my mouse on here to kind of help you guys. We see the dragonfly sort of looks a bit like a dragonfly, right? Or a cross, where it has this top part and the wick all the way down. And this basically shows where the sellers have pushed this stock all the way to the bottom. The sellers wicked down. This is the end of the seller wick, but the buyers have pushed this wick all the way to the top and are basically saying the sentiment of the buyers is the buyers will take over. And as you see here in this example, they went completely green after this dragonfly. Now, does it always happen that way? No, guys, it doesn't always happen that way. So I recommend that if you are using candlestick patterns and your resistance and support levels, and you see this dragonfly doji, that you watch to see what does the next candle do. And if the next candle's green and it starts to fill up, then you know pretty much that that stock may continue on an upward direction. The next one, and the opposite of the dragonfly, is the gravestone doji. And we basically say that the wick is at the top here with the bottom here. And just like the dragonfly doji, the opposite is that the buyers have pushed this all the way up and are fighting to get this to this top wick, but have kind of lost the battle and lost the fight. And now the sellers win the argument and start to push the stock back down. And then we have a traditional doji. Now, the traditional doji kind of sets in the middle and it doesn't really make a decision up or down, but that is a traditional doji. And you'll see a lot of traditional dojis in your trading, but you see here it didn't really conflict or change the sentiment of the buyers and sellers because the buyers continue to push it up, and past the traditional doji, it continues to go on an upward trend. However, longer leg doji, like you see here, it is in the seller sentiment, and you see when you see that longer leg doji that it's showing it's can continue to push this down. So what exactly is a doji? And I have put this up on the screen for you guys so you can read along with me and you can have it to go back to later to watch it again. But basically a doji is a type of candlestick on the chart, and it forms when there's opening and closing prices and that they're the same or very close. So that basically means that buyers and sellers are equally strong And there's really no one that wins the battle in just a traditional doji. But doji candles, like I've showed you in the first slide, can look like a plus sign, like a cross, or the upside down cross, because they have long or short shadows, or the wicks. And that's the lines above or below the actual candle. Dojis are important because they can signal that market indecision, guys. And it may be the start of a trend reversal. So, like you saw in that first slide, I showed you how the sentiment of the doji candle caused it to either win by the buyers, win by the sellers, and the opposite. And it may cause, when you are trading, to reverse in direction or actually just pause. A lot of times, and in some of the charts, you're going to see a traditional doji where then a stock may have been running up or it may have been running down. It pauses, and now the stocks actually start to run horizontal. And you have to know and understand, again, other candlesticks and where is the support level, where's the resistance level, to know what, after that horizontal run, which way may that stock actually go. But there's no rush to get into a trade, guys. If it goes into a horizontal run, stay with it, watch, and see what does the buyer or seller sentiment tell you based on the next set of candles. And I usually watch the 15-minute. When I'm making trading decisions, I'm in the 5-minute and the 1-minute, but I always watch the 15-minute candle to see, is it remaining in green or remaining in red. Then when you see a doji candle at a support or resistance level, it's usually after a big move, and they can either add strength or take it away even to other signals, to other candlesticks. And you can see sometimes a doji that you believe is going to take it in the opposite direction, and then you have a large engulfing candle, which there will be another video for training on. But that large engulfing candle basically shows a full candle that goes up green and it's solid, or goes down red and is solid, and it predicts for you which way the candles and that stock is going to run with the price. So now this slide here I put on, it's called the doji bear to bull. And if you follow along here on this trend, you see that we have sort of a horizontal, an uptick, a large, I like to call this the engulfing candle, even though it has a wick down and a wick up. And then it continues sentiment all the way up and then drops down. You have to assume this one's red because it's a large engulfing red. And then it sort of stays horizontal, continues to drop down. And then this one is a traditional doji, although it has a more of a center crust to it with buyers and sellers fighting. But again, you assume green. This is now running back up, hits another doji, which becomes bearish. And it shows you, hey, there's some sentiment. The next candle is red, and then shows you it's going to drop all the way down. Then you see the bullish or dragonfly candlestick, which tells you, hey, the sellers have wicked it all the way to the bottom, but the sellers pushed it all the way back to the top. And then in essence, you're running all the way back up top. This is a long-legged doji. So, you have the line in the middle, and it runs up long, runs down long. I don't know what happened here. Sorry about that, but this is the long-legged doji. We then have the gravestone doji, which again is the bottom. So the buyers wicked it all the way to the top, but lost because the sellers pushed it all the way back down to the bottom. You have the dragonfly doji, where the sellers pushed the price down, but the buyers fought it back to the top. And lastly, we have what's called the completed doji. And the completed doji is where it runs all the way down, gets all the way to the top, and then you know that we've completed this line and it's going to change in reversal trend, because you see the wick is high from those buyers trying to push it up, but the sellers pushed it back down, which indicates that this is now going to continue to run down. When we take a failed doji, which is where you are wicking up, okay, you have candlesticks running up, and then you have this failed doji. The sellers and buyers are fighting, but the buyers continue to push it up a little bit. The buyers continue on an uptrend, so the sellers did not win this battle because it failed. And then you get even another failed doji, more of a dragonfly doji, which tells you, hey, this is going to continue in the up, and then goes in the up, and then you have this large we'll say red down candle that fights it all the way down. And then you get all the way to here where there's a completed doji, which is followed by that short-term reversal. And then it's telling you, hey, this is going to start back down, another doji, which reverses and turns it back up. So, guys, this is not considered financial advice and should not be used like financial advice. This is primarily used just in your trading journey. I hope that you have understood and learned about the different doji candles. I recommend you watch this video a few times. You can save it to your, to your files so that you can go back and review it. Guys, if you have not subscribed to my channel, please hit the subscription button. Please comment. Tell me how you feel about the training. And if you've learned anything at all, hit the like button for me if you like it. And click the notification bell because we're going to continue to put out training videos along with our everyday market videos and share about the news and what's happening in the market. And most of all, the stocks that are the best for day trading, like the ones I day trade every single day. Guys, thanks so much for being part of this video. Josh out. Peace.